Hello, and thank you so much for joining me here for another video. Today, I wanted to talk about something that has been on my mind for the past couple of weeks in regards to protection and spiritual work. So, this video is going to be talking about how to protect yourself when it comes to channeling or energy work or any kind of spiritual work, or just as a highly sensitive person. Over the years of me, being on the internet and being in, the spiritual community, I've seen a lot of videos and a lot of creators and just a lot of people in general sharing their stories about, I guess, psychic attacks and shadow beings and ghosts and demons, and mostly just feeling afraid and being attacked and maybe feeling like you're doing everything right and you don't know what's going on, or more commonly, people don't know what's going on at all and they just know their house is full of shadow people, even though they're not trying to work with those kinds of beings. So I just wanted to pop in, share my experience with psychic attacks, and then how I have protected myself so that in the past 2 years I have had 0 psychic attacks. So if that interests you, please stay to watch the rest of the video, as this could really help you, or maybe somebody else spiritual that you know who's experiencing this. So first, I'm going to tell you a bit about me and I guess my initial spiritual awakening. For me, it happened in 2020, like it did for a lot of people, and I didn't know anything really about protection. I honestly felt at that time that it wasn't a big deal, that if I'm not messing with dark forces, negative entities aren't going to come find me. And that honestly wasn't a bad philosophy, except for the fact that it wasn't true for me. And as I got more and more into my spiritual gifts and more into meditation and learning about star seeds and things of that, and light workers, earth angels and things of that nature, and trying to find out more about my soul and my soul history, and the more I tried to kind of tune into my gifts and kind of create them, I guess, or tune into them, I should say, I started to have experiences with some being that would bother me every single night. So I remember this was during a time where I would get vivid visual visions that so vivid I don't even have visions like that anymore when I was going to sleep, and these visions felt like my guides. But eventually what started happening was, I don't know what the being is, I don't know if it was a ghost or what it was. All I knew is that it was definitely a negative presence, because I would be having these visions literally, and then suddenly everything would get sidetracked, because I would just feel as I'm okay, I wasn't even falling asleep. I want to be clear that I was wide awake for each one of these experiences, and this wasn't sleep paralysis, because I was awake, I could move, I could open my eyes, I could, I was not asleep. But this was happening when I tried to, lay down for bed, so. And basically, I would just feel this heavy presence fill the room, the room would become physically heavy. And I just felt deep in my heart and my stomach, the most gut-wrenching dread, deep inside my body. It was almost debilitating, and I would just feel to my left beside me this this presence. I never looked, I never turned to see what it was. I honestly didn't want to, but I could feel it there so strong. I just knew something was standing there menacingly. And obviously that was very hard for me. I didn't even know that could happen to me. I wasn't scared of the dark or scared of spirituality or any of this stuff until then, right? Because I didn't know how to stop it. I didn't really have the tools to. I was just getting into this stuff, to be honest. And now I'm having some of the most vivid experiences I'm having with non-physical beings are becoming bad. That's really scary. So I'm not telling you this to scare you, but in case you have experienced this, just so you know that you're not alone, and that you can stop that from happening. At least for me, that I haven't had a psychic attack in a while, so no need to be scared, just telling you the background. But yeah, so basically every night for I don't even know how long, it was a while, maybe at least a month, I wouldn't it was really hard for me to sleep, because every single night it would come and bother me and fill me with this complete fear and dread. Like, it was, the moment I entered the room, it lowered the vibration so much, it's like I couldn't do anything to not feel the fear, because its vibration felt so low that it just brought everything down with it. It didn't feel like I could just be positive and keep it like away, right? So now we're going to get into how I prevent that from happening now. Full disclosure, for a while I just kind of stopped doing spiritual stuff, because I was like, I can't deal with this right now. There's so many things in my life. I have school, like I can't deal with that. So, and if that's what you choose to do, that is okay. You are still divine, you're still loved. You are valid, but you don't have to do that. You don't have to abandon like this part of yourself that is powerful and divine and magical, right? You can have the magic of spirituality without being attacked for it. So what I did was, after I decided to come back to spirituality, after a brief period of being a little too afraid to touch it, is I learned to set up a sacred space. So whenever I do any kind of energy work, tarot readings, things of that nature, even meditations with myself, I always set up a sacred space, which that can look different for everybody. But for me, I always call in a protective guide. If you don't know your guides, I would suggest calling on Archangel Michael, or just in general, because he is like my number one protector. He's a collective guide, so anyone can call on him. Like, if you're part of the human collective, you can ask for assistance from him and he will hear you. He's multidimensional and he can protect you, right? So what I started doing is I would call on him, not just for the spiritual work, as I have said, but I'd also call on him for protection before I go to bed. And I still do that every single night. Now I don't it's not like a whole ritual kind of thing so much. Like, it's not super complex anymore. Like, I'm just kind of like, Archangel Michael, you know what to do. Please help. Thank you so much. I love you. But yeah, call on a protective guide. You can call on your guides, even if you don't know their names. You can still ask for your protective guides to come and shield you from any vibrations or any entities that are of a lower vibration than yours. And protect the space so that only what is for your highest good and the highest good of all, that only what is aligned with source, love, light, and benevolence, and what is of a higher frequency than your own can interact with you at night and can enter your space. So I would ask them to do that. And if you want to call on Archangel Michael, I would highly, highly suggest it. He's great. I haven't had a psychic attack in 2 years, at least 2 years. I think that might even be lowballing it, because I've been calling on him like basically all the time. So set up a sacred space before you go to sleep, even if it's just calling in your protective guides. If you want to take it a step further, especially with meditations, ground into Mother Gaia, like call Mother Gaia, call God Source or the universe or whatever you connect to, call in your guides to like kind of bring their energy, their positive vibes to like raise the frequency of your room. So it's even harder for any like lower vibrational beings to kind of like enter the space, because they can only reach like a certain vibration above them. And if you've surpassed that vibration, they're not easily going to be able to infiltrate your space, if I'm being honest. So yeah, so the best things you can do, from my experience, are to always set up a sacred space when you are going to bed, when you are meditating, when you are doing any tarot readings or any energy work, any spiritual work, any kind of channeling, even if it's art related and stuff. If you feel like you channel when you're creating, art pieces, just set up a sacred space. Everything that comes through is as divine as it possibly could be. And then I would be surprised if you would still have psychic attacks happen, right? Please call on Archangel Michael. So that's basically it. I just wanted to share that story and what I've been doing to kind of protect myself from psychic attacks, and let you know that you can still be spiritual, you can channel, you can have beautiful messages for people, and be part of this world without being attacked for it. You can protect yourself. You are sovereign. I like to ask for help, but honestly, you can ask your higher self as well. Like, sometimes I do that. I just ask my higher self to come and protect me, because one of these versions of me is just a protective goddess. So if if you know any versions of you that are that kind of protector, kind of goddess energy, channeling that is really helpful as well. But yeah, that's just what I do to kind of keep myself protected and energetically clean. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching the video, especially if you've gotten this far. It's an honor to connect with you here in this way on this like on this plane, I guess. On the earth, I mean, at this time. So thank you for choosing to incarnate here, and I hope to see you again for my next video.